Grady Newsource. Grady Newsource is live from Appalachia High School to discuss students returning to campus next week after the tragic shooting. Oconee County is adding resource officers to their public schools. What do parents need to know? And Georgia Governor Brian Kemp signs an executive order that impacts all student athletes.
The university can directly pay them, and hopefully that can maybe curb a little bit of the recent arrests from the football team.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College of the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening. Welcome to today's Grady Newsource show. Starting off, Appalachia High School will reopen to the public on Monday for students, staff, and parents. Grady Newsource reporter Faith James is live at the school to tell us about what is the school and community doing to help prepare students for their return.
Thanks, Riley. I'm standing here at Appalachia High School, where the school has been closed since the tragic shooting took place here 2 weeks ago. As you can see behind me, the memorial is still here and people are still coming by and dropping off flowers and paying their respects. The school will reopen for the first time and hold an open house on Monday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. for staff, students, and parents to reconnect. The high school and the community are working to provide resources for students affected by the shooting. The school will have an increased law enforcement presence along with additional counselors and therapy dogs. J Hall, where the shooting occurred, will be closed and remain closed for the rest of the school year. Classes that were supposed to be held in J Hall have been moved to a secondary location on Star Street, and transportation will be provided to and from this location. And the community is offering a support group at Agape Hospice for anyone who needs it.
We need it now, we don't need it next year.
Amen. Amen.
The Oconee County Board of Education plans to get the 12 school resource officers into the schools as quickly and efficiently as possible.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, we're experiencing some technical difficulties. The community is offering a support group at Agape Hospice for anyone who needs it.
Thanks, Faith. Oconee County Board of Education anonymously voted to place a school resource officer in each of the 12 schools in the district. Grady Newsource reporter Sarah Sims discovers what it means for the community.
We need it now, we don't need it next year.
Amen. Amen.
The Oconee County Board of Education plans to get the 12 school resource officers into the schools as quickly and efficiently as possible.
All in favor? Passes 5-0.
Oconee County residents spoke out at the Oconee County Board of Education's meeting right here in the building behind me on Monday night. Parents brought to the board's attention their want for full resource officers in all 12 schools, more safety in the school systems, more transparency on these deadlines and when these plans will be set into place.
The citizens have asked for this. We're working very hard to provide it to them. We're going to be transparent, and we're going to do everything within our power to make it happen.
Richard Woods, Georgia State School Superintendent, says he will advocate for more funding in the budget for school safety and mental health programs in the upcoming legislative session. Oconee County parent Jennifer Arnest speaks on how extra school safety makes her feel.
The idea of having to think about having additional safety measures in schools for your children to be safe is terrifying.
Oconee County Schools will work with the Sheriff's Office to create the plan to get those 12 school resource officers, otherwise known as SROs, in each school. But this presents challenges like extra qualified officers.
But our thought process is we would like to have deputies that we know and that we have vetted and that we have had in our system for a while that we can trust to go in our schools. And so that will take time.
Some parents were pleased with how the meeting went, but expect progress updates and timelines along the way. Sarah Sims, Grady Newsource.
Moving on from the community impact, Grady Newsource reporter Nigel Whittington takes us to the Georgia Public Safety Training Center to find out what goes into the actual training of these officers.
The Oconee County Sheriff's Department plans to place resource officers at all 12 Oconee County schools. The question then becomes, when will these officers arrive? To answer that question, you'll need to take a trip to the Georgia Public Safety Training Center in Forsyth, Georgia, where you'll meet Kevin Angel. Angel is a manager in the basic training department at the center, and he plays a role in the development of resource officers and many others the center trains.
They come to our training facility, or one of our training facilities across the state of Georgia, and for 12 weeks they undergo training in Georgia law, criminal procedure, everything from use of force and de-escalation to driving and firearms training.
Being a resource officer is no easy task, requiring both physical and mental demands.
Ready, take, seat.
They come to us, they take a physical agility test, and then from there, they will pass several milestone tests as they go through their 12-week academy.
Well, a lot is asked of the officers. For Angel, resource officers play an important role in the children's lives.
The idea behind the training that we provide is that they're building a relationship with children, and again, they're there to provide a layer of both investigative security but also personal security while they're on campus, so that the focus for those students can be to get an education.
Before the Appalachia High School shooting, Oconee County Sheriff James Hale detailed the previous plan in place for police presence near Oconee County schools.
Split the county up into 6 different patrol zones is what we call it. And so there's a deputy assigned to those patrol zones, and within their zone there may be a school, and if there is a school within their zone, then they're responsible for that school while they're out patrolling.
While law enforcement was previously within short distance of campuses, the actions by Hale and the training by Angel will help ensure the future of Oconee County's children is well protected. Nigel Whittington, Grady Newsource.
Georgia Governor Brian Kemp signed an executive order permitting state colleges and universities to directly pay student athletes for their name, image, and likeness. Grady Newsource sports reporter Ryan Lynch joins us now live in the studio with some reaction to this news. Ryan, what have you been hearing?
Thanks, Riley. Coach Kirby Smart said the executive order will help the Bulldogs stay competitive. Here's what he said. It's just helping us be competitive with others, and I'm sure Georgia Tech feels the same way. There's times you feel you want to do something, and you can't. Now, hopefully, we've got the capabilities to do what we need to do. I also went out to the field and interviewed some students. Take a look.
I think it's a good thing that we're, instead of having third parties paying athletes millions of dollars to come to the school and play, that the university can directly pay them, and hopefully that can maybe curb a little bit of the recent arrests from the football team.
I think basketball is going to benefit the most. I think it's an up-and-coming sport. We got some good recruits coming in, but not a ton of companies and people know about it down here. So I think if the school could put more money into them and kind of give the guys an incentive to come here, then we're going to get a better team.
That's what the students had to say. I'll be back with the rest of the sports news later in the show. Thank you, Riley.
Thanks, Ryan. As election season starts to ramp up, people all across the country are making sure they have everything they need to vote. Grady Newsource reporter Ethan Wright tells us how college students are making sure their voices are heard.
Who has the power? Those who vote. More students are beginning to use their power at the polls. In the 2020 presidential election, 66% of voting eligible college students cast their vote, an increase of 14% over the 2016 election. This election season, college students are making sure their voices are heard, and volunteers like Sarah Covert are making sure they can.
One of the things that's nice about this current election is I'm starting to see more younger voters getting engaged and excited about the opportunity to voice their opinion.
Covert is one of the many volunteers in Athens assisting students with voter registration.
A common question for college students is where should they be registered? Where they go to school or where they grew up?
Covert says it doesn't matter where students register as long as they get it done on time.
As long as they do it by October 7th, they can then vote in Athens, Clarke County this fall in the presidential election.
And for those who are new to the process, Covert says things couldn't be easier.
If you have a Georgia driver's license or a state ID, you can register online through a very simple website. It takes 10 minutes.
For University of Georgia students, a new option to vote locally at the Tate Student Center offers students and staff even more convenience. But convenience isn't the only thing driving young voters like Noah Gessner. For him and his classmates, it's about long-term impact.
I feel it's very important, especially for people our age, to go out and vote right now. Probably because, we're young, so a lot of this stuff is going to affect us in coming years.
And for some students, voting where they live now just makes sense.
Yes. 100%, because it's way closer. Usually I'd have to go back home.
As students prepare to hit the polls, one thing seems clear. They know the power they have to shape the future.
With Election Day less than 2 months away, the Athens-Clarke County Elections Department will be testing the logic and accuracy of all their voting equipment this Monday. The test will begin at 9 a.m. and will continue until all equipment has been tested and proven accurate. Political parties, media, and the public are all invited to view the testing, which will be done at the Athens Landscape Management Building on Lexington Road. After the break, we will hear live updates about the ongoing 316 highway construction in Barrow County.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're home before sunrise. On top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. Alright, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Highway 316, which runs all the way from Athens to Atlanta, is undergoing 32 construction projects right now. Barrow County is among those who are having to deal with the road work. Grady Newsource reporter Elizabeth Hunter is live at the construction site that caused a lot of headaches for Barrow County locals and commuters. Elizabeth, what's the latest update on this road construction?
Well, Riley, GDOT says that this has taken a lot longer than they originally expected, but as you can see behind me, the overpass is up. Let me take a step out of the camera so you can get a better look. The asphalt is laid, the lines have been drawn, and when I was here this morning, they were laying safety cables on the ramp. GDOT says locals and commuters can finally start to get excited about seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, or in this case, the overpass. Cones are up and cars are stopped. For people in Barrow, construction
is awful.
Brian King commutes from Athens to his job at Bethlehem Christian Academy every day. He has to go straight through the construction to get to the school.
Right before the orange barrels started, I sat there for 35 minutes to get here one day.
The project was supposed to be finished in August 2023, but over a year later, it's still not done.
It is almost complete. The bridge is up. 316 will go safely above State Route 11.
Elizabeth Johnson is an employee for Georgia Department of Transportation. She says that all that's left on this project is what they call closing items.
Installing cable barriers. They're doing the permanent striping on the bridge. all the safety features.
According to the GDOT website, the overpass is 97% completed. King said after dealing with it for 4 years, he is ready for it to be over.
It was bad. So I'll be excited when it's gone.
September 20th is the day that King and locals will be looking forward to. This Friday, GDOT confirmed that the overpass will finally be open. Riley.
Thanks for the update, Elizabeth. In other news, Victoria Bowles, a former recruiting analyst for the University of Georgia's football team, has settled her lawsuit with the university related to the fatal car crash that occurred last January. Bowles suffered severe injuries and saw over $170,000 in medical expenses and other damages. While her claims against the UG Athletic Association has been resolved, lawsuits against former defensive lineman Jalen Carter and estate of Chandler LaCroix are still ongoing. News: Madison County approved its 2025 county budget last week. This budget includes an increase in police funding. Grady Newsource reporter Jackson Rowland explains why.
A well-run police department comes at a cost. However, this year's cost may be more than normal due to inflation.
In every aspect of what we do has had about a 30% increase. I mean, it just has. In real numbers, somewhere between 30-32%.
With the adjustment for inflation, equipment such as vehicles drive up cost.
They've increased in the last 5 to 6 years, average $10,000 a vehicle at least.
Most of the vehicles they turn in has 200,000+ miles, and then the maintenance bills have started to add up. He needs new ones.
The increase in cost has not only affected equipment, but the price of getting officers prepared.
Although we do a lot of in-house training here, it comes with a cost. I mean, it's not cheap to do that.
Part of that cost is the increased price of training resources, such as guns, tasers, and ammunition. There is also the cost of equipping the officer with a standard kit of gear.
If an officer, a brand new officer coming in with the entire setup, minus the vehicle, you're probably looking at $5,000 to $6,000 minimum to equip that officer.
Despite inflation slowly coming down, it's still 2.5% higher than the last 12 months to date.
In fact, it's impacted every part of our budget, obviously. I mean, as everybody else at home, your grocery bills go up. I mean, the cost of doing business goes up. That's what we're all facing now, fortunately.
From Madison County, for Grady Newsource, I'm Jackson Rowland.
For the first time in decades, drug overdose deaths in the United States are down by over 10% in the last year, according to the new public health data from the CDC. In Georgia, deaths are down by more than 13% from last year. Despite these decreases, drug overdose deaths are still higher than before the pandemic. And coming up after this break, weather anchor Melanie Levy will preview your 5-day forecast with a little bit about what to expect as the beginning of fall is coming soon.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
You know, a lot of people say when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, that's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me if I'm really free. Take me down to the river and walk.
Of 82 degrees with a low of 63 tonight. And we're going to continue seeing these warm temperatures in the 80s throughout the rest of the week, with plenty of lovely sunny skies for the next few days as well. And luckily, the chances of rain will stay low. So as you can see, Thursday will be a beautiful sunny day and reach a high of 86 degrees, cooling down to around 65 at night. Friday will have a good amount of sunshine too, and hit a high of 87 degrees, also cooling down to a nice 65 later in the evening. Saturday and Sunday will both be sunny and hot, reaching a high of 89 with lows in the mid-60s. Now, I know I'm looking forward to some chilly weather and of course tailgating. And speaking of fall athletics, anchor Ryan Lynch will cover all things Georgia sports after the break. Thanks for tuning in.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers. He connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please. I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
What's up, everyone? My name is Ryan Lynch, and tonight I'll be giving you the sports rundown. Starting with soccer, the women's soccer team will face South Carolina tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at home. The last time the team played the Gamecocks, they suffered a 0-4 loss. The team is on a 3-game winning streak and has 4 wins, 2 ties, and 2 losses this far. Player Margie DeTruzio currently leads the team in points, goals, shots, and shots on goal. In WNBA news, the Atlanta Dream secured a win over the Chicago Sky last night. The final score was 86-70. Atlanta's bench outscored the Sky's bench 16-3, led by former Georgia Bulldog Maya Caldwell. The team will play tomorrow night against the New York Liberty as they hope to make the playoffs for the 2nd season in a row. And looking forward to Sunday, the Falcons will kick off against the Kansas City Chiefs at home. This game comes after a very close win of 22-21 against the Eagles on Monday. I'm Ryan Lynch, and thanks for tuning in to Sports Tonight.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Woo-hoo.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So, wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
At the Oconee County Civic Center, the Collective Artists Workshop brings their first ever show to the stage, Little Women. After their opening run last weekend, the cast and crew are gearing up for another set of performances. Grady Newsource reporter Julie Anna Russ sat down with the team behind this production and got a glimpse of the passion driving this local theater group.
The stage is set, the lights are shining, and the cast is ready. But this isn't just any performance.
This is Little Women, the Broadway musical.
Little Women is the debut production for the Collective Artists Workshop, a group that aims to nurture local talent through musical theater, acting, and vocal performance lessons.
One of the great things about Collective Artists Workshop is the fact that we focus really hard on process because of our educational mission.
80% of the folks up there are students of our company, acting and music theater classes that we teach.
Among those blossoming young actors,
all right, break a leg, see?
Will do. Is Kiara Bono.
My role is Josephine March. It's been so much fun. We're all like one big family.
Little Women is a story about 4 sisters, and this performance is also a family affair. Artistic director and founder of the Collective Artists Workshop, Dallas Bono, is Kiara's dad.
He's such a passionate man who is always willing to put everybody else above himself, and that means his family.
Dallas Bono has an extensive background in opera and musical theater, which led him to start the Collective Artists Workshop. After almost a year of planning, Logan Bono says his dad's dream is coming to life on stage.
He's been wanting to do this for so long, and I'm just beyond proud of him that he's finally been able to do this and has involved the whole family in it.
And on Sunday, Bono's dream was met with a standing ovation.
Really good. Second act, I pretty much cried the whole time. Highly recommend.
The show continues this weekend at the Oconee Civic Center with evening and matinee performances. Juliana Russ, Grady Newsource.
Thank you for joining us on Grady Newsource. I'm Riley Kehoe. Have a great night. Yay!
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're home before sunrise. On top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Julie was always a voracious reader.
she'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. Alright, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. Well, not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
When we're all right, so it was a great show, guys. There's so few people left. What's going on? Everybody fled? I don't see the 2 lives. Yeah, we had again. Every day we conquer a new peak, and today it was having 2 live shots in the field. One of them, unfortunately, didn't work quite right, but we had one in the studio. Speaking of one in the studio, it was team effort. I'm really grateful. People like Juliana and Sarah who helped out, and Ryan did a great job going out and getting those sound bites in the last moment. Lots of teamwork went into. I'm sorry, your mic was turned off. For some reason, yes, and we didn't have your 1-minute version. So that's why I insist on you guys having both your versions, because in the last moment, we can tell you we're doing 1-minute weather, and you don't have your 1-minute weather script in there. And so that's what happened to Mel, but she handled it like a pro, but do not place yourself in such a situation where you need to have both versions, because in 5 seconds, you could be told, you need to do your 1 minute. And if you don't have it in, it's not in the prompter. So you've worked so hard all day and you don't want to be in that situation. I am really impressed with Colin, his first producing. He came in, he had a vision, and we all worked together, and I'm really proud of how it all came together. Real teamwork. Very, very good packages, very strong content all around. Some people were struggling a little bit today, but it all came together. Very nice work, Ethan Jackson. That was very good as well. Glad you got that little nut graph for some more perspective. And Juliana, we just absolutely loved your piece. You outdid yourself. I mean, the nat pops, the close-ups, the turn of phrase, the way you intertwine sound bites with what you were saying. It was just wonderful. That package, I think, belongs in your reel. It was excellent. It was excellent. Sarah, that was a great piece. I just want to watch it again, I wasn't aware that you were going to use the Zoom meeting kind of shots. There was little difference in level, and technically it was different, the sound bites you were using. We didn't quite get that sound bite. I didn't understand it in the beginning of you want the sound bite that we talked about, but I'm going to watch it again and give you just a few suggestions. In the beginning, it came from the Zoom meeting, right? It wasn't you. That was me there. I had to be behind. No one was. Yeah. And the audio was different from that to where we saw you then in your stand-up. but I'll watch it again. I'd like to watch it again together because you worked really hard, and I love the way the script came together. But I want to watch it together and one more time. But very important for you to go to that meeting. You've been on a roll this week. You've really given us a lot of newsy content, and even though it's been hard for you to gain access to these things, I think you're finding your way, and I'm really impressed with, because I know how hard you worked. It's not easy what you've been doing. Yeah, so I really appreciate it very, very much. But I'd like us to watch it together. Lots going on there. I didn't quite manage to watch it as closely as I wanted to, but I really appreciate everything you've done. Lots of hard work. Yeah, and Nigel is not here, but I thought he added a lot of good perspective to the resource officers and how they train. Had a lot of interesting NatPops, a very interesting package, a great addition to our show. And Ryan, I really love the way you handled the little sports pop, and then teasing back to I'm going to do the rest of the day sports. It was just a very nice addition, and that was important. We are UGA. We have to come up with some reaction more than others can get. And I really appreciate that coming together. And again, thanking Colin for finding the reaction, Kirby Smart reaction. Ethan, that's, as I mentioned, a very nice piece. Again, it came together very well. Just one suggestion, have your sound bites, when you have the sound bites, introduce them by your sources doing something, not just them standing on camera where they actually have been interviewed. So maybe the first woman, the activist, having her talking to some students and helping them out. And the second source also was very good, but again, you introduced the second source again with him in the same spot where you interviewed him. So him walking towards you, or walking away from, after the interview, or a close-up of him, a gesture, his hands, or something, just to take you to the next level, introducing people through cutaways. But it was a very strong package. You're also an extremely strong writer. Love the way it came together. Elizabeth's, she's not here, but that was also very strong. Donut, Jackson, Juliana, I mean, very, very good work. Faith, like to talk a little bit about what happened with Faith's live shot, and also with Mel's mic. And again, not to put you on the spot, but you guys did an amazing job, because this was the most complicated show. And we were very late, with the meeting to actually, to give you an idea of how all these moving pieces were going to come together. And I really appreciate your understanding, but it was like 10 till when we were discussing that. And I apologize, it was too late. And you still, this was just a very clean show with that exception. Very, very impressive. Kira.
Okay, so Professor B's right. Our biggest issue today was that it hit about 4:50, and there was still content that I didn't have, or like 4:30, 4:45, 4:50, and there was still content that I didn't have, which means that I can't get my tech staff set up, and I can't get in the right headspace myself, which makes it a little bit harder for us to make y'all look good. That being said, I think the show still went off really clean, so I'm still really, really happy with it, but we really, really need your content in by that 4:30 mark, because we were late putting the 2-minute show open up because we were trying to figure out what order y'all's packages went in our system so that we could put y'all on TV, which isn't really conducive to making a really good show. So I'm gonna be more of a bother, sorry. But I really need your content in earlier than it was in today, because I can't make you look good on TV if I don't have your package or your content or something.
Yeah.
And I said this.
Packages have to be in At 4:30.
Like 4:30 is your late deadline. Like really,
I
I'd
mean,
prefer 4:15.
Yeah.
And I said this last week, but if there for some reason is like you have a 4 o'clock interview or like you're coming back from somewhere and editing on the way or whatever, like if the earlier you can tell me that information, the more likely it is that I'm going to be able to still make you look good because I know that I'm waiting for you. Like today at 4:35, 4:45, like we were like running around wondering what was going on. So the earlier you can tell me that, the more likely I can put you on TV and make you look good. With the live shot, like I will take responsibility for part of what went wrong with that. We misread some of the cues that were in there. I didn't get to read over them ahead of time like I would have preferred. So we took the package too early, and then when we came back, we tried to take it again, and then the wrong package was queued up because it was as if we had already played the earlier one. So that's what happened with her thing that went wrong. I think she recovered from it really well, and props to you for like communicating that with her. I think she recovered, she apologized. It came off cleaner than it probably would have, so props to y'all for that. I think our second live shot went off really well. I thought it looked really nice. I thought after that, like y'all's content looked awesome. The segment with going to Ryan early was something I don't know that I've ever done in an A block, so like that was really fun for us to get to like play around with that a little bit. So keep being creative, just give us a little bit more of a heads up, because it's really fun when you guys get to do a creative show. We just need to have your content so that we can make a creative show.
Yeah, and we will keep trying, and I will be also pestering people a little more. It's not in my character, but I can be a pesterer. I can force myself. Yeah. Thank you, Kira, again.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. And yeah, I wanted to talk just for all of your sake, although we don't have Faith here, about how to handle situations. I've handled quite a few situations like what Faith was in and what Riley was in. So when you are in a situation like that, it's really important for you to be ready to ad-lib your donut, to have like 3 bullet points, whatever is in your donut, so that when you apologize, I'm sorry we're having technical difficulties, but you tell the viewers what that donut was supposed to have. Just 3 or 4 things. You can't recreate the whole thing. That makes you look professional and credible, and then toss back to the anchor. When we have a situation like that, you were smiling a little bit too much, when she tossed back to you. I do that also. Everybody does it, especially when they're nervous, but try not to smile when something went wrong. It was a serious story. That's just, something we all do, so don't worry about it, but have that in mind. So that's what I would just say. Keep in mind the right tone for when there's been a technical difficulty, when the story is more serious. Even though I know you did it because you're friends with her, and you were like, thanks, Faith, because you love her and you're friends with her. But in that situation, just think about that. And I'm just nitpicking. You're very credible, very solid anchor. But these are things that I would like for you to have in mind, because I faced them and I want you to learn with me. But any one of you in that situation, and I promise you, if you're doing live air, you will be in that situation, whether you're an anchor or whether you're a reporter. And so always be able to ad-lib something and get yourself out of that situation. And I'll talk to Faith, because I also want her to have that in mind. But again, she recovered pretty quickly, because Colin was quick, to let her know what was going on and to apologize for technical difficulties. And so it worked, and a good producer does that. You've got to be on top of what the anchor is going through. Unlike what we did with Savannah, the first anchor, she had no idea what was going on. But that we'll work on, producing. So these are little things all of you should know. I just wanted to share with you that cheat sheet with the bullet points. Can't go wrong with that one. Yeah. And having said that, I want to hear from you guys. Enough from me. I want to hear from from Colin, how things went, what you learned. Maybe you want to share a few things that went right, a few things that you learned that you want to share.
Yeah,
Do's and don'ts.
No, I mean, like credit to everyone in this room. Seriously, I feel like everyone ended up stepping up and doing something they weren't expecting to do at the start of the day.
And
Like
Mel
the
writing
production team was
Federal
doing the sports
Reserve thing,
graphics.
very well done.
Ryan ended up
really
going out on campus like an hour and a half before the show and talking to students. Like everyone was helping out a ton, like making this happen.
And Juliana did the graphic.
Yes, the Kirby Smart graphic.
And it came out so good.
It was awesome. Yeah. I was really happy with how that early A Block sports segment turned out with the SOT and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I like seriously can't give enough credit to everyone. It wouldn't have been able to happen if, like Ethan, you put together an entirely new package in like 3 hours, and I thought it was awesome. Like seriously, everyone did a great job.
He's still shaking. He's still shaking. Yeah.
I mean, like they're saying, I guess I definitely threw a lot at like the tech team and everyone because I kind of did have an idea of like how I wanted things to run at the start of the day, and I appreciate everyone for like being willing to help out and make it happen. I guess like main piece of advice, like it was on me for not realizing that like we didn't have a 1 minute weather in and ready before the show. I was kind of scrambling, and we were over by like well over a minute. And we only had a 2 minute weather in the rundown. So then we had to cut out Mel's package entirely that she did. And she like did on the fly, like did just regular weather, which was really impressive.
Yeah.
So like be prepared for any situation. Cause all day I was expecting to be under time. Like the whole time we were adding in extra readers, and then we ended up floating like 4 readers or 3 readers. So
that's what happens. Everybody makes their packages longer.
Yeah.
And so we end up usually with more content when we are under. But But I thought you guys learned a lot. Even Mel, I felt for you, but still, everybody learns from these. And that's why you're here. And I want you to, have these situations here so that when you're out there in the professional world, nothing can faze you. You know you've dealt with it, you know how to deal with it, you have a little plan, you have bullet points when things don't go wrong in the field. Whatever you know, you can learn here and make mistakes here. This is the place to make mistakes. And to be awesome, of course. Yeah, and I wanted to thank especially Mel, who wrote the Federal Reserve Reader, which was important coming into Jackson's package because it added a little more weight to a news spec to what he was talking about. Some more perspective about inflation. And so really grateful for that. And anything else?
I don't know, just thank you to everyone for helping out. I think if you have like a vision or you have a way you want things to go, like do everything you can to try and make it happen. I will definitely be there to help people in the future because I owe it to everyone here. So that's pretty much all I have.
Yeah. So how about we hear now from Tori and Sydney?
Yeah, it started a little weird, kind of because we didn't know quite what content we had to work with, but we kind of figured it out like on the fly, and we appreciate y'all for listening to us and everything that we asked for, every image, every SOT, y'all gave it to us and worked with us. I want to shout out Ethan for trying our story idea with us because that was on the fly, but it really stood out to me going through trends about how people want to know about voting in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, it's really important.
And we pitched an idea to him while he's editing his package, while he's stressed out of, hey, can you go outside with us and talk to voters real quick and we can put it on our story? And he was totally there for that and only took like 3 takes. So we really appreciate that. And just keep being creative because it gives us more stuff to work with. And I want to shout out my DCC for being amazing.
Yeah, and I also want to shout out to you guys. You helped us out also. So thanks for the teamwork. Yeah.
I was really looking forward to this show just because I'm like comfortable with social media. And so I had a lot of fun today. And even making the sports graphics, like it was chill for me. So
yeah, Sydney made the sports graphics. I mean,
we both did.
I mean, it was just like both of you, because you volunteered, but both of you, And it was just awesome teamwork. Everything got done and everybody did whatever they could to help out. And that's impressive. And I really thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Anybody else wants to share a thought?
I tend to ask a lot of questions and maybe a lot of dumb questions, but everyone's always really patient with me, which I really appreciate all of you guys for. Thank you guys for doing my sports graphics. That I'm not a big techie person, so you guys doing my graphics. I'd rather go out and interview people in front of Terry and embarrass myself than make a graphic, so thank you for doing that. And then shout out, I don't know did Kira leave? Kira's the best, and she's always so patient with all of us. And yeah, oh, and then I think the live shots looked pretty good too.
Hey, come on in. So you handled this very well, the live shot going down, and I was just suggesting and coming up with my bullet point solution to a lot of things. When this thing happens, when you go on a live shot, always expect that your donut might not work. So always have a little cheat sheet with, let's say, 3 or 4 bullet points, and you can easily tell us what was in the donut. So you apologized very well. You didn't show it on your face. You were just like a cool cucumber. Yeah, so you apologized for technical difficulties, and then you didn't have much to say about what your donut
Well, I was trying to hear what Colin was saying, and I got confused about what was going on, so.
I had told her.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So if I were you, you always have to be your best advocate. I would have summarized a little bit before I tossed back, you know. So we're having technical difficulties, but this is what the school is doing. They're doing this, and or what Agape, are doing. They're doing this and they're doing that. Always be in a situation where you can say something about the donut that didn't play, just for the rest of your career. And this is where you're placed in such situations, and this is where you learn how to swim. We threw you in the ocean, and you swam very well.
Thank you.
But I'm just sharing with you because I've been in your situation. I've done I haven't had my, bullet points, so couldn't remember what was in my donut. So my suggestion is, in the future, always have that, or have it in your mind. What would I say if my donut fails? What are the 3 things that I can say after I say, well, unfortunately, we have technical difficulties, but Agape, whatever, they are, I think the donut had the Agape people. So they're there, the hospice, and they're offering this kind of help and that kind of help, and the public can always rely on them to come, or whatever. 3 or 4 sentences that you either have them in the back of your mind, or you have them in a little cheat sheet. So that comes from my experience, those bullet points. So that's all I have to say. I'm in awe of all of you. We're just saying what a great group of people, and we want to hear from you how this, because they want to learn from you how it felt and what it felt to be there and whether you had enough information. Obviously, it wasn't enough, and that's not anything, to do with you. But what could we have done better to give you a better idea of what was going on?
I was very
confused. How did it feel to you? Just share it with others.
I was very confused with what was going on, honestly. I could hear in my ear that this thought was playing while I was still speaking, and so I stopped, and then I heard it stop playing, and so I went back to what I was saying, and then I got confused because didn't sound like my thought, and then it wasn't my thought.
Yeah, it was the package. So
yeah.
You didn't know what had gone wrong. We were playing, I think it was Sarah's package. We were playing Sarah's package instead of your mini donut.
Yeah, so I just wasn't aware of what was going on, and then I was just waiting to hear from Colin to hear what to do, and then he just told me to bounce it back. So, that's what I did.
Yeah.
It's nerve-wracking out there.
It is.
It's very scary doing lives, but it wasn't terrible. It was fine.
You're going to do another one, right?
Sure. Yeah, I have to make up for this one, right?
Very well done, very well done. Faith, you know, we played a package instead of her mini donut, another package, so she, yeah, so we were talking about, you know, about that, but we made, yeah, we made yours. We were able to handle yours the right way, and it was very interesting, very important, because a lot of people travel down that road, myself included, and it was very important to know what was going on, and that finally it will be done. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Do you want to share something from your experience with the live? Whatever others can learn from a live that went right.
I mean, I messed up on the words there, so, I mean, that was my error, as I said down instead of up, but I quickly corrected it. So I guess just like making sure you're not getting ahead of yourself, because I think I like went over it so many times in my head that when it happened, I kind of like psyched myself out. But I think just like staying calm, like for me, like if I had just stood there by myself and like zoned in, it would have been a lot more nerve-wracking for me. So I kept talking to Jill. That way, like I wasn't thinking about what was coming up. But yeah, Jill was great. She cued me and everything, because I really couldn't hear that well, my package ending. And then Riley was cutting in and out, I guess, because the internet connection out there on the road. But Jill, I guess, could hear really well because she cued me right on it, I think. If it looked good, then I haven't seen it yet. Yeah. But yeah, so I think just staying calm and like maybe not getting ahead of yourself, not focusing so much on the script you've written, and more just like you know what you're talking about. So, that's it.
Sounds good. Well done, guys. Love you. Very impressed. Would you like to say something? Yes.
First of all, sorry about the 1 minute package thing. I apologize. But something that I wanted to share with you all for when you guys are doing weather that helped me really greatly was I said to myself, back up left for 2 days, back up right for 3 days. So I'll explain it. So when you're standing in front of, the camera, obviously it's switched and it's really hard to remember, like kind of which way is which while you're speaking. So I thought to myself, back up left for 2 days, as in Wednesday, Thursday, back up right for 3 days, as in Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you just like repeat that I literally wrote it down on my phone, just practice in front, seeing which days, dictate which direction you have to go in, and just keep it down like that. I mean, it's hard to explain, but if you ever need help with that, just let me know. So.
Sounds great. Great advice. Yeah, and one thing, I thought about when you're talking to the anchor, when you're in the studio. Yeah, but just for a little while, and you guys, because it's natural. Yeah, it's natural to look at the person, but it looks like you're. Yeah, but it was very subtle. It was very subtle. And Ladies in Black, I managed to get a photo from the studio, and the floor director had a black T-shirt, so I've memorialized that. Yeah, so I'm going to Slack that. Okay. Yeah. So guys, very well done. Monday is upon us. I want to know who will volunteer. I sent a Slack to. Will you do it? Yes, we can't miss that. Yeah. I think so. Who's the producer? Monday? No, I'm assuming you'd want a live shot, right? Yeah, because Barrow County is on sojo duty, so Faith cannot do. She has a school, so they need to focus on Barrow County sojo. So Ryan is going to be your reporter from Appalachia, and that is a historic thing. That's a great thing to have on your reel. Because that's a national. I'm sure that there will be national news. You'll be there with a lot of other big media. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that it'll be. Yeah. It's one of the biggest stories, you know, even internationally it was mentioned in a lot of international broadcasters. I follow them. Not sure if they'll be there for the opening of the school, but it's a huge story. And for you to have that on your reel, especially a live shot, I'm not putting any pressure on you, but it is an important story for you as a reporter. Yeah, and for us also. It has to be, think of how you're going to approach it. Maybe you won't have a lot of cooperation from the school itself. So that's why I was suggesting to kind of go at 8 a.m. or whenever they drop off kids in the morning. It's going to be a little tough to go early and get the reaction of, you know, parents dropping off their kids, you know, after such a horrible thing happened, right? But also don't focus on children's faces. Get them with their backs, backpacks, little feet, things like that. You know, try not to have anything that identifies the kids. And if you want to chat with me a little after the meeting of how to handle that, yeah. And also, Faith, do you have a few moments to chat after the meeting right now? Because she can also, the three of us can talk and figure it out. Because she's our expert. She knows what we're dealing with here. Thank you for volunteering for that. So Monday is going to be an interesting day. We'll see what the news brings Monday morning. You never know. Hopefully it's good. So guys, get a little bit of rest and also come with stories on Monday. Yeah.